Okay, this is do we have a quorum? I was gone. I didn't see who came.
Looks like it. 1, 2, 3.
We've got Stevo, Mech,
Fahrenwald.
And
you.
Okay, all right.
Victoria, can you get me another cup of coffee, please? Thank you, Dick.
Okay, this is the Municipal Services meeting of December the 8th. Public notice of the Municipal Services Committee for the City of Blue Island to be held remotely Tuesday, December 8th at 6 p.m. as permitted by Executive Order 2020-07, signed by Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker on March 16, 2020, in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. To participate remotely, download the Zoom app or call 312-626-6799. The ID number is 813-6678-9557, and the password is 669950. And I am the person who is physically at City Hall for the meeting. So I'd like to call the meeting to order at 6:02. Roll call. Fahrenwald?
Here. Here.
I'm sorry, I should say Alderman. I'm sorry. Alderman Stevo?
Here.
Alderman Mech?
Here.
Okay. Jim Postro?
I'm here.
Okay. Eric Alvarez?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Ted Rosenberg?
I'm here, yes.
Okay. And Betty Harmeyer? Okay. And Bob Jackson?
Here.
Okay. Okay, on the citizens' concerns, I did receive an email from Carol DePace Green, and it says, Municipal Services Committee Chair Carr needs to accurately record all information, including public comments, in her committee meeting minutes. The record is expected to accurately reflect what takes place in her meetings. Municipal Services Committee Chair Carr, along with the Municipal Services Committee, need to act on advanced life-saving services, the 20% water rate rollback, along with a corrective action plan for Longwood Drive before the end of December 2020. The Municipal Services Committee delays have significantly irritated Blue Island water consumers, residents, and voters. Blue Island deserves better. I believe that is the only public comment I have.
And Candace, I'd like to let you know that Betty Harmeyer is here now too.
You're on mute, Betty.
Okay. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hi, Betty.
Hi, Mike.
Hey,
And we're
Hey, Eric, how are you?
on
thank you.
we're on YouTube, and we lost Candace momentarily. Candace, you're back.
I'm back. I don't know what happened there. My phone just dropped the call. Okay, so did you hear the letter from Carol, or was I disconnected before that? You got, everybody heard it? Okay. Then let's move on to Public Works. Mr. Polster, do you want to give your report for the month?
Sure, thank you, Chairman. We used 48.5 tons of asphalt and 1 ton of coal patch in this last month. Street lighting, we had 12 street lights repaired, and also we had 8 ComEd requests that were submitted for repairs, which were the wooden poles. 78 20-yard dumpsters of bulk waste, and 1 dumpster of tires, 1 20-yard dumpster of tires. We had 2 snow events, actually, were very light snow events this last month. And let's see, what else did we have? We had the IEPA bacteria testing the first and second Tuesday of the month, which we finished that up today. And we read the water meters. And let's see what else we got here. And we had one water meter replaced this last month also. That's it.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Polstro?
It's Alderman Mech.
Yeah, go ahead, Alderman.
Quick question, Jim. How are you staff levels going into the snow season here?
Right now, we were exactly where we were last year, except we will be losing 1 employee in a few weeks. So I believe they might be posting. I'm going to be getting together with Human Resources, and we're going to be discussing that.
And then the next question is, how is equipment?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
The equipment, how are we prepared with equipment?
Awful. We do have some newer snow fighters, but our equipment, we've been missed the last 2 years in a row for getting anything. So I'm hoping this time around that we actually are recognized about getting some new equipment. So we need some we need a few things that I actually have been talking to the finance chairman. I'm not the finance chairman, but the finance director about. So hopefully things will work out a little bit for us.
All right. Thanks, Jim. You know, you and your team do an amazing job for us, and I thank you for that.
Thank you, Alderman.
I'm going to change the order of the agenda just for a second. Is Kimberly Byrne on the line?
Yes,
Yes, I am.
Okay, I don't want to hold you for the whole meeting. If you want to go ahead, you're under Public Works Section E, but if you want to go ahead and give the report that you have, then you don't have to sit through any other discussions.
Oh, no problem, Chairman. I love listening to the meeting. Thank you for bringing me back. I was last here, I guess, at the meeting to talk about different parking challenges and issues working with the Zoning Board of Appeals. We have seen most recently parking variance requirements. So I have tried to be creative in thinking and considering, what are our options in the city for parking, other options. One would be a parking garage, which is expensive, and we need partnership, and we need sort of a long-term sort of thought and plan for that. One thought that I had sort of come up with that was actually referred to by Alex Loisman, who owns the old Klein's building on Western Avenue in Vermont, was he mentioned ride sharing, Uber, Lyft type of ride sharing, helping to offset some of the parking requirements that would be needed potentially for Ophelia's. And so I gave it some thought, and my thinking was, from a proposal perspective, is I like the idea of Lyft and Uber as ride-sharing potential opportunities with the city. The one thing that I didn't think would, be a good idea would be to have that type of service on Western Avenue, on a Saturday night, Friday night, busy traffic, the corner of Western and Vermont Avenues. It's just kind of crazy. So I kind of walked around the block, and I came up with an idea that on Artesian, if you go south on Artesian, it's a one-way. On the left-hand side, and I think I've sent it out, a copy of kind of my proposal to most people here. On the left-hand side is a curb that is currently all yellow, which means do not park there. It used to be, it's my understanding, it used to be a newspaper stand where people could drive by and pick up newspapers. And as it continues today, it's a post office drop box. I had thought about, okay, could we possibly use that side of the curb as a potential ride-sharing waiting area for things that happened at Eagles or at potentially it could happen with the Vault. It could be Ophelia's Banquet, which is going through the process of being reviewed. All of these can have crowds of people. So we as a city, we're a little tight on funds and opportunities. So I thought, okay, a ride-sharing opportunity here might be a good opportunity. But what would we need to do to change that, the current state? One, if there is an ordinance that's currently in place, which there very well may be, that says, this particular area of the city has been blocked off for, these older purposes, we need to identify what ordinance that is. Number two, in order for this to be, to work out, we'd have to probably move that postal box a little further up if possible, closer to the north entrance of that parking lot, but not to make it such that a car can't pull up and drop off mail. But if we did move it up kind of north of the big tree on the photo, that could offer the opportunity of being able to drop off the mail and open up all of that curb from the tree down to the next street, to Grove Street, for ride sharing cars to sit there during evening events and that sort of thing. My suggestion would be if we could change the ordinance and make that area below the tree a green curb being for ride sharing, and it's green services rather than parking. Open up the opportunity for people to use ride-sharing services there to empty out onto Grove Street, and then you could either go right or left, and then actually leave the city area without impacting kind of the main Western Avenue and Vermont Street kind of crowds at night. So I'm proposing that opportunity now. Prior to my prior meeting with you all, it was recommended that I speak with the police chief about parking opportunities. And unfortunately, I have not been able to reach her. She's doing what we're hiring her to do, which is catch the bad guys. So I kept my thinking cap on and came up with this idea as an opportunity. And I think that Municipal Services is one of the places where this kind of proposal could be heard reasonly. Certainly, everything's worked out, but this is a proposal to the city to start maybe some green ride-sharing opportunities where there are clustered areas of cars and the need for people to, for example, Cook County Health is a challenge with its ridership needs. There may be an opportunity, similar type of opportunity around there, where another green ride-sharing location could be located, and signage, of course, goes up on any of these types of proposals, where and to color the curb green for green ride sharing, as well as an ordinance to establish that we have green ride sharing. These are the rules. This is how they're managed. These are the signage that's used for them, and give the city another opportunity for to kind of keep parking to a manageable state, but still allow customers and people to come into our city and use the facilities and come in and do business in the city. So that's my 10-minute spiel on an opportunity potentially of green ride sharing for Blue Island. Any questions?
Chairman, Madam Carr.
Oh, go ahead, Alderman.
Yes, this is Allan Stevo. I really like this creative idea, and I would like to see the city move forward with it. And I would like to make a motion that we accept it. And should we pass it on to Judiciary Committee to further this motion?
I think it would probably. I'm thinking it should go to community development. I could be wrong.
Well, that's a good idea. They're meeting tomorrow night, I believe, so.
Well, it would be too late to get it on their agenda, but we could certainly, and I can also talk to Nancy Rita about judiciary.
This is a very worthy idea, and I think it's very timely. I'd like to see this acted upon by the city.
Well, I'll second your motion, Alderman Stevo.
Thank you, Alderman.
Okay. I don't know if we actually need to take a vote, but it's not like we're passing an ordinance or anything, but we can if you'd like. So Alderman Fahrenwald?
You're probably right, Alderman Carr. We're not, there's nothing we're actually acting on. I think maybe
I will contact community development and judiciary and see what they feel the next step should be. I think this is a good idea. Yeah. It's kind of an innovative thought, taking advantage of Uber and Lyft drivers and hopefully getting rid of some of the parking congestion that we experience.
Alderman Carr, this is Eric Alvarez. Can I just add a couple of points on this? So I think
sure, go ahead.
Kimberly had a good point about, thank you. I think Kimberly had a good point about possibly moving the mailbox to the north. I just did some quick research on the IDOT low roads requirements for the recommended distance from the center line of the roadway to mailbox. And it looks like there is the potential to move the mailbox about 40 feet to the north. But I think she was very smart in saying that we don't want to move it too close to the intersection to make sure we don't affect cars queuing up onto Vermont Street. So from the research right now, it looks like the guidance is 90 feet from the center of Vermont Street is preferred to the mailbox, and that means we could move it up roughly 30 to 40 feet. So I think that does just get it just past that big tree that Kimberly was speaking about. So just FYI, also did some research in that federal guidance does allow us to paint the curb green if the city wishes. So that's my 2 cents.
Okay.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Eric. Appreciate that. If I could also make a comment, I spoke with the postmaster and the postal service since we're moving their property. And there doesn't seem to be an issue with doing it. It's not moving too far from where it currently is. We just need to get the sort of a letter from the postmaster to get approval for us moving it and its location. So there's kind of that as well.
Okay, I think that the best person to contact about this would probably be Mark Miller, so I will send him an email too. He kind of has contacts with all the other entities in town, and he's got pretty good relationships with them, and he'll be able to figure out exactly what we need to do to get that moved.
Great. Thank you, Chairman.
Okay.
Appreciate you listening to it.
Thanks for bringing this up. It's a good idea.
Thank you very much.
Okay, under
Excuse me,
under
Candace.
Public Works, yes.
Alderman Carr, I apologize for being late. I was having trouble getting on, but I am here. Thank you.
Oh, okay, thank you.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. I have a computer with no camera and no microphone, so I'm just winging it here. Under item B, under Public Works, request for a stop sign at Maple and New Street. I think this is going to take a little bit of discussion, and maybe not tonight because we have a lot of other things, but myself and Alderman Clinker received a letter from a resident who witnessed the accident on Halloween at New and Maple, and they are requesting a four-way stop. They said it's not the first time that they've seen an accident there. However, I was just driving here tonight to City Hall, and there is a stop sign every 2 blocks on Maple Street already. So this would be, I think there'd be a stop at York. I might have my streets wrong. There'd be a stop at York, then a block later there'd be a stop sign at New, and then there would be the traffic light. Plus there are stop signs every 2 blocks all the way down Maple as it is. This is something that we're going to have to think about a little bit.
Alderman Carr, this is Alderman Stevo. And
Yes, Alderman.
Whittier School is right there at that intersection also, so that should be taken under consideration. The school right there. It would be a safety issue also.
Yeah, I understand that.
Alderman Carr, could I just add in one thing, if I might?
Certainly.
Maybe it'd be great if Eric could weigh in at some point on this. Your point about there being a stop sign already every other block. I just don't know kind of what's best practice in terms of, if you fill up the street with parking stop signs, does it, create other issues? Maybe, I don't know. I just don't know. I'd kind of like to have
I think it would be somewhat irritating to people. There's a stop sign on every single intersection.
Yeah.
This is Alderman Rita. I also received the email for public comment at Judiciary, at last month's Judiciary, which we did during public comment, but it was just under discussion. So I don't think that it needs to go to, we don't need a, what's the word I'm looking for, Alderman Fahrenwald?
I can think of it.
I don't think we need to do a study of the area. I think that if we all just kind of, because that's your ward, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I just would like to have it'd be great if Eric could just weigh in on if there are, any obvious issues from a kind of a traffic flow and traffic safety perspective that putting, that many stop signs in, maybe it doesn't create an issue. I don't know.
And I do want to say that at Judiciary, it seemed like everyone was on board, but again, it was just like a quick discussion item, which we didn't go into thoroughly, but it seemed like everybody was on board. If that helps, I don't know, but just so you know.
Okay, Alderman Fahrenwald and Rita, just from the engineering perspective, so stop signs, whether they're every block or 2 blocks on residential streets like Maple is pretty quiet street, very low traffic. From a traffic flow issue, isn't really, in my opinion, an issue, and that is up to the city, especially if there were other considerations like nearby schools and stuff like that. But Alderman Carr is exactly right that you do have to weigh that versus drivers being annoyed and possibly not stopping if you put them too frequently. In my opinion, stop signs every block can definitely be warranted and are effective if you have problem locations.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. I'm looking at the time we have left and the items on the agenda, so I'm going to try to, unless someone has an objection, I want to kind of pick and choose the things that we need to discuss and get passed through our committee this evening. I have a handicap parking request for 2326 Walnut. I need a motion for that.
A motion, Mike Mech.
Okay, and a second.
Second, Farren.
Second motion.
Was it Alderman Stevo?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
This is
We'll take roll call.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Never mind.
Did you have a question, Alderman Rita?
I was just going to chime in that at the time when we took a look and we corrected at city council meeting, we moved the, it was just a correction to the ordinance.
Okay, right now we're talking about the handicap parking at 2326 Walnut.
Right. At that time, so when I went over there, South Suburban, Dr. Anderson, I believe his name is, he came out, we took a look at it. Also, the
Nancy,
homeowner came out.
Excuse me, Alderman Rita.
Yeah.
That was item C, we're on item D.
It ties in, probably because I'm late, I apologize, but I just wanted to let you know that I did talk to that there was a happy agreement, and we found out the homeowner had said that there was, he had put in a request for the handicap. So that's how we were able to accommodate all people there. So thanks.
Okay, all right, thank you. So this goes back to the restricted public parking on Walnut.
Right.
Which is item C, but we already voted on that.
Right. It was all
Okay.
tied in. That's what I was just trying to, so I
Okay,
did it.
all right, thank you. Okay, so we've got the motion and a second. Roll call vote, Alderman Fahrenwald,
Aye.
Alderman Stevo,
Aye.
Alderman Mech,
Aye.
Alderman Rita.
Aye.
I'll say aye. All in favor, motion carries. We have an item under the water department that we were supposed to discuss last month, and somehow it was overlooked. We were supposed to discuss the water rates for homes with fire suppression systems, because people are paying the minimum water charge on the water meter attached to their, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Polstro, the water meter that's attached to their sprinkler system, even though they're not using water.
Correct.
They're still paying the minimum water charge, and we have received complaints about that. Is it correct?
Yes, that's correct. But you know, it's not, I mean, it's a system. The system's in place to, you know, there's a charge for that. You know, to make sure that the water is available too.
Alderman Carr, this is Alderman Stevo.
Go ahead, Alderman.
Yes, thank you. It was explained to me by several businesses that they paid extra to have the sprinkler system put in place. And to do so, it makes it safer for their property. It makes it safer for first responders coming on the scene, because there is a sprinkler system there. And they feel that they're being overburdened by this extra cost on the water. And they've already made it safer for the first responders coming on the scene. And according to them, they checked, and other communities are charging less for this. Even though they're not using the water, they feel that it's not fair to them.
Hey, this is Eric. Can I just second what Jim said as well? I think we got to keep in mind that as a city water system, there is a lot of costs that don't necessarily get tied to usage, such as maintenance of the piping, maintenance of the meters, and a million other costs that we could go into. But I just want to make sure everybody please keep that in mind. It's not just the actual water that goes through the system, it's the maintenance of the system itself.
Thank you, Eric. We understand that. And I'm just expressing the views that they asked me to express. I mean, I'm doing my duty. They've asked me to bring it forth, and I'm bringing it forth. Then
Right, but you know,
I'm doing my duty as an alderman.
I would put it on like a perspective as the fire engine and the ambulance and the police and everything else. If, you know, God forbid, you don't need any of that. I hope, I hope you never need an ambulance, but it's there just in case you need it, and we have to maintain it. And we have men ready to respond in, you know, a moment's notice at all times. So the same thing with the fire engine. You know, it's not that I haven't used the fire engine, you know, in my house yet, but it's there. I know it's there in place just in case, but you know, there's a, I know it's built into my taxes to pay for that. So it'd be almost the same analogy I would have to say to you.
And what does Chicago charge for that monthly charge for you? What does Chicago charge? Same as Blue Island charges?
I don't know who you're asking.
Jim, I'm asking you.
I wouldn't know. But I'm just trying to bring up an analogy of, you know, the use of a fire engine or an ambulance and all that, you know, it's ready to go.
Right, we understand that, and
Okay, thank you.
this is a living ordinance. It changes with time, and maybe this is a time to change it. And maybe in the future, they'll change it again. Just like the restricted parking, unrestricted parking. People have new demands, and things get changed all the time.
If I could just suggest, and we're not, Chairman, we're not, you know, moving on anything right now. We're just having a discussion. Is that correct?
No, this is just a discussion.
So I guess probably it would make sense. I certainly get what Jim's saying. It makes a lot of sense to me. I get the concern about, you know, are you being overcharged or not? We wouldn't know unless we had some facts in front of us. And I don't know what those facts should be, frankly. I certainly believe that, you know, everybody has to pay for the availability of a service that they may or may not need at some point, provided, you know, because there's a chance that they will need it. And that makes a lot of sense. Whether we're overcharging or undercharging, I have no way of judging sitting here unless, you know, we had an analysis of some sort from somewhere. So I kind of would be unable to, you know.
Unfortunately, Betty's not here, but I'm wondering, is there a way that we can get a copy of a water bill that shows the different charges for the water actually used and the meter for the fire suppression system?
I am here, Chairman.
Oh, you are here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And what is your request?
Well, the question is, people who have fire suppression systems are complaining because they're getting charged the minimum charge for water, even though they're not using any water.
Right. And so what, yeah, and you're requesting what kind of information?
Just the difference in the bills. Are they getting two different water bills? Yeah. One for their regular water usage?
For each meter. A fire meter and a regular water meter. And the minimum charge is whatever the size of the meter is. And most fire meters are around 3/4 inch. And then that would be 2,000 gallons. That's what they would be charged for. 2,000 gallons, $8.72. And then 20% for sewer fee.
And if I might just clarify, that water line exists so that if there is a fire, then that pipe would then get filled up with water to put the fire out. Is that basically correct?
That's my understanding also. Jim, I don't know if you have a different take on that.
Betty, could you tell us how much would a 4-inch water pipe cost for a fire suppression system? 4-inch?
Well, I don't have that information in front of me here at home, but I think, and don't quote me on this, but I think it's 11,000 gallons is a minimum.
They were telling me it was 50,000 gallons they were being charged monthly.
Well, I would have to, like I said, I would have to check. There's different for each size. There's a different minimum.
So this is Alderman Rita. So each resident, depending on the size of the pipe, is charged a different amount for the emergency system, correct?
Well, most residents in Blue Island just have the meter that is used for their home. And those almost always are 3/4 inch. Some of the newer buildings like the townhouses in Phase Point, those are 1-inch meters. And then the minimum charge is 7,000 gallons. And each time you go up a size in a meter, the minimum charge changes. And it could be, Alderman Stevo, that a 4-inch is 50, but I don't have that information in front of me. It's not a normal, I shouldn't say normal. It's not a normal to the city of Blue Island size meter. So I would have to look that up.
Not for residential anyway.
Yeah. It's,
Okay, in the interest of moving on to other things, Betty, could you supply us next month with a bill for each type of meter?
sure.
Okay, and then we can discuss it further.
Yes. No
Is that
problem.
acceptable, Alderman Stevo?
Yes, thank you, Betty. Thank
You're
you,
very
Alderman.
welcome.
Okay. And like I said, I'm kind of jumping around here, but I'm going to keep track of the time. We do have under Robinson Engineering the water supply agreement between the City of Chicago and the City of Blue Island that we need to approve. So unless
Alderman
there's
Carr, if
a,
you want me to give you like a real brief rundown on that, I can. It's up to you. I know we're short on time too. If you want to just.
if you can hold it to like 3 minutes, go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so 3-minute version is this agreement gets updated every 10 years, so this is regularly scheduled. 95% of this is all the exact same language was in 2010 and 2000. There's been some. This has been thoroughly analyzed by the city attorney for changes, and they're mostly just they've changed the name of the commissioners and some of this stuff. Some of the more meaningful changes are they've updated our allocation amounts, which is listed all the way at the end, and I believe those are more than sufficient for the city's needs. We usually use 2 million gallons per day, and they give us roughly 3 in an increasing rate every year. Jim and I have checked the emergency locations, and we've done a lot of work recently in the meter vaults to bring this up, to bring the meter vaults up to their requirements. So that's the 3-minute version.
Okay, thank you
Oh,
very
and
much.
I guess I should also add that this is just a supply agreement. This is nothing about rates or anything like that.
I'm sorry, it's nothing about what?
This has nothing to do with like the water rate that Chicago will charge the city or anything like that. This is just how much water and under what terms.
I move.
Okay.
I have
Who
a
is that?
question for Eric Alvarez, please. I have a
Go
question.
ahead, Alderman.
This new agreement you're speaking of, Eric, will this allow Blue Island to sell water to other communities?
So no, we would have to amend this agreement to list subsequent purchasers. So other communities that we were then going to sell water to, which at the moment we have not included any.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is there any other question on this? Okay, then I need a motion to approve.
I move. Oh, Fahrenwald.
Who is this?
Fahrenwald.
Fahrenwald? Okay, thank you. And a second?
I'll second it. Rita?
Thank you, Alderman. So I'll take a roll call vote. Fahrenwald?
Aye.
Rita? Alderman Rita?
Aye.
Alderman Stevo?
Aye.
Alderman Mech? Alderman Mech, are you still there?
Mike, you're on mute.
I should be live. Hello.
Okay. How you vote on this?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, and I'll vote aye. All in favor, motion carries. Let's see. We covered that. Mr. Ruthenberg.
Hello, Alderman. Okay, can we go right to this netting? So I have,
Please.
okay, I have a couple quotes. One was sent out a couple months ago to the alderman. they're coming in slowly, but we really need to come up with a plan here. I know I got cut out of last month's meeting. I did listen to it. There are many things going on here. The best option for us, I believe, is going to put up a 50-foot net, 200 feet. I mean, I know it's expensive. Price is right around $30,000. The other options a couple of the companies came up with were to put, and I don't know how this will work, was to put netting alongside the residents' like backyard, actually. Again, that would be for discussion, obviously. They said that would probably be a better option for us. But right now, that's what I have. I have the 50-foot high, 200 feet netting is around $30,000, and that's where I'm at on that. Does anyone have any better suggestions or conversation on this?
Okay,
Carr.
it's my feeling. On the one hand, nothing is going to stop a golf ball. On the other hand, I feel that we have to show some sort of due diligence to the people that live on Elm Drive. I've been out to their homes. I've seen the damage that the golf balls are doing. And my fear is that someone is going to be hit in the head, and then it's going to be a lawsuit, which we really can't afford. I don't know if anybody else has any thoughts on this.
This is Alderman Rita. I do know that during judiciary and actually at the last council meeting, it was split to pay one of the property damage claims. But anyways, so it was brought up at judiciary to put up signs, park at your own risk. So I don't know if that would tie in with the nets.
Can I butt in for a second, Alderman Rita?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, that wouldn't really necessarily tie in on this. This is more of a health danger. You know, this is more of a danger issue than anything. These residents on Elm Drive, I honestly feel really bad for them. And we have done small things on the golf course. Honestly, it's just bad golfers hitting bad golf shots. And that's what's happening over there. And I really think we have to take some action on some netting or something here in the very near future, as Alderman Carr said, to stop any, real problem from happening.
Alderman Fahrenwald, I think it sounds reasonable, frankly. None of us wants to spend $30,000, that's for sure. And I just, for the record, I have to say, this is my constant, kind of a broken record, not problem, but just concern with the golf course. You're doing a great job, Ted. I, don't want to suggest you aren't. You're doing a wonderful job of keeping it, some positive cash flow, and I appreciate that so much. Unfortunately, we're uninsured, and it just opens us up to just really bad liabilities. I am very concerned about it. I have to say that for the record, because I am. But I do think that this is probably one reasonable way of at least cutting that liability down without being insured.
This is Alderman Rita. I agree.
This is Alderman Stevo. If $30,000, if you amortize it over 10 years, that's $3,000 a year.
Yeah, no.
That's one way of looking at it.
Right, no, you're right. It's a lot cheaper than a $2 million settlement. That's for sure. So.
Right, and at the next meeting, guys, I will supply for all the aldermen the end of the year financials, and I think everybody will be fairly happy with that too. So I can add that into the mix too, I think.
Okay.
It's Alderman Mech, I have a question for Ted.
Oh, go ahead.
What is the life expectancy of this mesh material, of the netting?
Let me see if I have that here. I don't have that sitting in front of me, Alderman Mech, but I will definitely get that answer.
And is there a warranty? I mean, is there,
Let's read it now. Yeah, I will definitely clear that up with whatever quote we would go, we would go with. I would definitely make sure that would be cleared up.
All right, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Ruthenberg,
Yes.
Oh, go ahead, Alderman.
thank you. This is Alderman Stevo. Betty Harmeyer, she spoiled us. What I'm saying is that with her weekly communication reports, they were so informative. In the future, could you possibly give us some written reports?
You got it, Alderman Stevo.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm going to make this suggestion, Mr. Ruthenberg. We do have appropriations coming up. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, okay. We do have appropriations coming up. When you put in your figures for next year, why don't you include the money for the netting?
I absolutely will.
And then and discuss it at the time and decide whether or not, we're willing to spend that kind of money.
Okay, and it was just brought to my attention. If it is over 25,000, it does have to go out to bid, correct?
Yeah, well,
I just realized
I
that.
realize you've been asking people and that you haven't gotten a lot of response, but we should put something in the appropriations for this, I think.
I will get it in appropriations, and then we can discuss it at the next meeting, I believe, right?
Okay. All right, thank you. Mr. Jackson, are you there?
Yes, Alderman. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
I'm here.
Okay, did you have a report?
Yes, I had emailed it out to the committee. Is there any questions?
None from me.
Okay. And then you told me that you were going to a presentation yesterday or today. Do you want to speak briefly about that?
Yes, Alderman. We've been looking into a national fitness program, which the Illinois Recreation and Park Recreation is recommending they have partnership with a national program, and they are they're giving grants out for this program where they build a 38 by 38 foot. It's not a play field, it's an exercise field. And then also they have trained the staff on how to give classes in there, which is free. We're still working on some details. And at this time, I would like to probably table that until I have more information for you in the committee. But there is going to be probably a $25,000 cost. Everything else, they would help raise the money and get the grants for.
Okay. I don't want to contradict what you're saying, but the paperwork that you sent us, it looks like the grant is $25,000.
Right.
And then the
matching with the 25,000, the city would. The overall project is close to 130,000.
Right.
It includes the. I can send you the paperwork, or I have sent you the paperwork. Once you read over that, we can go into further discussion, ma'am, if you don't mind.
Okay. But we would have to somehow raise the additional funds, correct?
Yes, ma'am. But the bulk of it, they will do through other grants from the state, and they have funders that will contribute to the project. They also would like for the Public Works Department to participate in helping with the cement covering of the asphalt. Well, it's not asphalt, cement.
Okay, are you going to have another meeting with them where you would get more information on this?
Yes, ma'am. I also had sent you earlier an email with everything that was attached that they sent me today.
I did see that. I guess I just don't feel clear on exactly where all the money would be coming from.
Okay. If you have chance, maybe later we can discuss that. And we can go through the diagram and summary that they sent out.
Okay, but you're going to be meeting with these people again
On the 16th.
on the 16th.
Yes, and I'd be more than happy to give you the Zoom information. I can forward that to you. You can come in on the meeting yourself.
Okay, I appreciate that. Boy, I think we covered everything with just a couple of minutes to spare. Ms. Harmeyer, did you want to give your water report? We skipped that.
If you'd like me to, I would, unless you have anything else you'd like to go ahead and discuss with your few minutes.
No, I think we're going to give you the floor.
Okay. Okay, so we have contractual accounts, was 33 last month. The amount collected from above was $5,710. I did not have available the amount of houses sold with the water balance. We had 9 red tags and the amount collected on that was $1,802. Contracts resulting from the red tags is 3. We have none pending. We have 4 offs. Contracts paid off were 4 at $503.10. In response to the COVID letters, which is what I'm really concentrating on, is we had 49 letters sent out. Partial pay was $7,213. Full pay was $5,726. And red information tags, that was $7,651.46. So total of all of these was $28,605.56. Does anyone have any questions?
I just have one, and I should probably know this, but when you say red information tags,
what that is I have 3 different letters I send out. I send out what I call my C letter, which is a letter to people who are delinquent, saying that about COVID and that we're all experiencing situations and that we're ready to create a flexible payment plan that will work for them. That's basically what it says. If I don't get a response from them, I send out another letter that I call my C no response letter. And then I put in the amount that they owe and the last time they paid. And that, again, we're offering a flexible payment plan. I also have my C with the $sign letter, and that's that we've received something from these people, but it doesn't incorporate the whole amount, and it's usually a very little amount. And again, I'm offering a flexible payment plan for them because each time they are not taking the flexible plan, they're getting a penalty. And that's what I'm trying to avoid for all of our residents that are having issues with their water payment. So then the next step is a red information tag that we put on the door. And that basically is saying that I've sent you all of these requests to get in touch with me to create a flexible payment plan. And we really get, and I don't put numbers on that or amounts. I just say, please contact me with my phone number, because what I'm trying to do is impress upon them how important it is that they look into this for the mere fact that they aren't getting charged a penalty every month, because it really raises their bills. And eventually they're going to have to pay. When this is all over with, they're going to have to pay, on this amount. So instead of a red tag where I'm telling them they're going to be shut off, this is the prior tag. So I call it my red information tag.
Okay.
Because I'm trying to find out from them, are there still people living here? Even though there's, You can usually tell by their usage, but sometimes people have left their houses and they may have a water leak, and that water is still going through the meter. So it's really at times hard to tell whether there are people still living there. So that's
Okay.
kind of where I'm at with that.
All right, thank you.
Mhm.
We have 5 minutes to get to our next meeting, so I need a motion to adjourn.
Mike Mack, motion.
Okay. Need a second?
I'll second it, Rita. I have one quick thing I just want to add before you take a roll call. Just a reminder, if anybody could please donate a box of their favorite cereal for Angel's Touch. Friday's the deadline. I know I sound like a broken record, but if you can find it in your heart to buy a box of cereal, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Okay.
It's on a much
Thank you.
smaller, we're doing a much smaller thing this year, but you know, anything will help. Thank you.
Okay, Alderman Fahrenwald,
Aye.
Alderman Stevo,
Aye.
Alderman Rita. Alderman Rita,
I'm sorry, aye.
Alderman Mech.
Aye.
I will vote aye. Meeting is adjourned. See you all in 5 minutes.